Go. Go. Nice. Okay. Stop the stream, restart the stream, and nice. Okay. Go live, I guess. Stop the stream, restart the stream, and nice. Okay. Go live, I guess. Stop the stream, restart the stream. Just double check that if I'm talking loudly, it's still sounding okay. Make sure it's not blown out too much. Stop the stream, restart. Just double check that if I'm talking loudly, it's still sounding okay. Make sure it's not blown out too much. Stop the stream. Okay, and I believe we are live. Let's just double check on sound. Okay, and I believe we are live. Let's just double check on sound. Right, that's wonderful. Well, welcome back to Sensei's Kitchen Top, where we play Casual Magic the Gathering and other such games. We're live streaming today, obviously, but if you're watching on the YouTube video afterwards, then do welcome yourselves. Thank you very much for joining. We have got some weird lag here. So this is the first time I've used this software. Okay, seems to have caught up a little bit here. Yeah, brill. Okay, right, so we're trying something slightly different today. We are going to be doing some solo Against the Horde. Now, for those of you who don't know what Against the Horde is, it is a deck that's comprised of primarily tokens, in this case zombie tokens, and quite a few thematic spells, so board wipe, zombie related things, and other zombies of that kind. On each of the Horde's turn, they will reveal cards from the top of their library until they reveal a non-token card and cast all of them, or resolve all of those spells. The spell effect will take place. Usually it's there's no choices required, but on the occasion that there is from the deck, it will make the optimal choice. And then all the tokens and creatures that come into play have haste, so they will attack immediately. Your aim as the player is to get their life points, or in this case their deck size, down to 0. When you attack them, they mill a card, and then when their deck hits 0 cards, they will lose the game. This, back in the day, was a format that people would build their own physical decks for, but now someone has, well, a while ago now, but now someone has made a website for it, which is incredibly useful. It's got a bunch of different Against the Horde decks that you can play against. In this case, we're going to be doing the classic, so just the zombies deck. But we'll see how it goes. So I'm using the one-player quick setup, although I'm going for the 100% deck size instead of 75 because I've played against this a fair bit. I have checked the Horde has life points, just in case there is any kind of life gain effects in the Horde. It means they can gain life onto the life total and have a bit of a buffer, but I will be setting their starting life to 0 so that I don't have to work through that. And today we are playing a Yara, First of Locthwain. So if you don't know the card, whenever it or another black creature enters the battlefield under your control, each player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. And then you can tap and sacrifice another black creature to draw a card. So it's lots of kind of aristocrat style and mono black good stuff. So it's a bit of a mono black v mono black setup. So we shall continue on. As I said, it's a bit of a test, so hopefully it doesn't go poorly. Still running. Well, okay, so let's have a look at the starting hand. Quick shuffle. Oh, and another very important rule is that we, as the survivor, get 3 turns of setup before the Horde gets their go. So this is the current layout for the Horde. This is a 100-card deck, graveyard. We've got some options for if more tokens are created or anything like that. and adding counters and the like. Let's flick back to here to have a look at the starting hand. This is a double-faced card. This is Malakir Rebirth. Three lands potentially for, we've got the Zulaport Cutthroat, Zul, Zisha, Lich Lord, and Yawgmoth Thran Physician, and the Malakir Rebirth itself. I think this is a pretty good hand. We've got the 3 swamps, so we know we can play a Yara. We're doing something on turn 2 as well, and then we've got a sacrifice outlet, which is great. So I think I'm going to keep this. Okay, it's going to be a bit of a squeeze because I want to keep my hand down here so that you guys can see it. Let's swap that out for Malakir Rebirth. Double face cards and colour sleeves, man. It's worst. Okay, so turn 1, just be a swamp. And then we'll move to our turn 2. She'll play another swamp. I think we're going to get down the Zul, Ashore, Lich Lord to begin with. And then turn 3, untap, draw a card. Oh, this is great. Great draw, Endrixar. Play the 3rd swamp, and then we will get down our commander. When she enters, we will gain a life and lose a life, but I will switch screen to do that, and that will be the end of my 3rd and final setup turn. So we will pass back to the Horde here. Double check that we are still going here. Lovely. So we gained 1 life and they lose 1 life, so they will mill a card. Because it's a token, it will disappear out of the graveyard. And then we go to the new turn here and it will show how many tokens they get. So on our first turn, we only get 1 token, which is good, and a Death Baron, which is something we want to get rid of quickly because it is a Anthem effect, so we'll buff them. So these come into play. And then we can go to see attackers, and as I said, all their creatures have haste, so they attack immediately. So we've got a 2-2 and a 2-2, or 2-2 and a 3-2, sorry. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to block the Death Baron with my Ayara, because she's 2-3. And this is other creatures, other zombies you control get +1/+1, so it doesn't currently benefit from that. So that will be destroyed. And I will take the 3 damage from the zombie, so we can dismiss that, and that's destroyed. And then it will be back to our turn. So untap, draw for the turn. No land, which is a little unfortunate. We have got Buried Alive and Unmarked Grave here, so we've got some good cards to fill up the graveyard with. Okay. I think let's play the Malakir Mire so that we can get our Yawgmoth down next turn, because that is quite important. And then we can Unmarked Grave, paying the 2 mana here, to go searching for a non-legendary card to put into my graveyard, and we're going to stick in... where is he? There we go, Gravecrawler. So he's a 2-1 that can't block, and you can cast the Gravecrawler from your graveyard as long as you control a zombie. Which then means... Shuffle up. With the 1 mana remaining for the turn, we can then cast that. We'll trigger a Yara, which will drain and gain life, which I will do when we move to the other screen. I don't think I'm going to... We do attack. The Horde's creatures can't block at all, so any damage that we send through is just going to go straight through with no issues. I think we will do that. So I'll swing in, and let's do the 2 damage here, and then I will also gain the life and do the additional damage from the Ayara trigger. That will be the end of my turn, so we will pass to the zombies. Another single token, this is going well. And then Fear can't be blocked except by artifact creatures and or black creatures. Fine by us. You can see the attackers. two 2/2s and the Severed Legion 2/2. So if we flip back to my camera here, I'm going to block the Severed Legion with my Ayara. The Gravecrawler can't block, so I will then just take the 4 damage. So that puts us down to 35. This is destroyed, and these two survive. And then in the end step on the Horde's turn, I will sacrifice my tap my Ayara, sacrificing the Gravecrawler to draw a card. Oh, Blood Artist. Okay, we've basically got all the pieces of the deck here in the hand, so that is good. Move to our turn. Wouldn't mind another Swamp, but we don't get it. Let's put this over here. Do we get down the Yawgmoth? I think we do. It means we can get the Gravecrawler down, just kind of loot the Grave Walker next turn, and get down Blood Artist and or Zulaport Cutthroat. And we haven't taken much damage yet, so I think we can take the turn there. And 2/4s are a good blocker against most of these zombies. Still want to keep my Zul Asher, so I'm going to attack him with that for the 2 damage. And we've got the Ayara trigger on Drain and Gain, so let's switch back to the zombies here for that. So 1/2 from the Zul, and 1 from the Drain, and we can gain a life. And then we will pass to the zombies again. We have gotten incredibly lucky with the dex draws. Cackling Fiend, when it comes into play, each of your opponents chooses and discards a card. Let's discard... Maybe Zulaport. I don't think we need Zulaport and Blood Artist to go off here. And then we can see the attackers. I will block with Ayara and Yawgmoth, killing the 2 tokens, and then I will take 2 from the Cackling Fiend. So let's switch back to that. And destroy both of these, take the 2 here, and dismiss this. Don't want to sacrifice any of my creatures to Yawgmoth at the moment because these are important, so we will just pass the turn back to ourselves. Draw Swamp. Hey, there's the Swamp. Lovely stuff. Sorry, I apologize. I've got a shortcut to switch back between the cameras, but it doesn't seem to work if I'm on... Oh, maybe it does. Oh, okay. All right, cool. So, switch back here. Got the Swamp. Let's play out the Blood Artist, which will then trigger Ayara. 1 and 1. Let's play Gravecrawler 1 time from the graveyard, which will Drain and Gain 1. Then I'm going to sacrifice the Gravecrawler to Yawgmoth, paying 1 life, which you'll see when we go back there, and putting -1/-1 counter on the Cackling Fiend, which I'll kill when we go back, and drawing a card. So we will draw a card. We've also got the Blood Artist trigger, so we will gain a life and they will lose a life, which I will do, and you'll see the difference when we switch over. And that goes to the graveyard. Witch of the Moors is also a nice draw, fairly new addition to the deck. I think we will just play Gravecrawler again. I think we'll leave it there. So, we head back to the zombies here. Cackling Fiend died to the Yawgmoth, which also triggers Blood Artist as well, actually, now I think about it. This is another draining game there. And that will be their turn. When it or another zombie is put into a graveyard from play, each opponent loses 1 life. Great. See attackers. I don't really want to ship anything into this, But what we can do is sacrifice Gravecrawler to Yawgmoth, losing a life and drawing a card, and putting a -1/-1 counter on it. So it won't die this turn, but it will reduce the damage, and I can kill it next turn. And then it's also another life gain for me. But then I lose 2, taking me down to 36, and another life loss for them. End of turn. I don't think I want to do anything else, so we will just pass turn to ourselves. I'm getting lost as to where we are, which screen. The stream's behind enough that it's somewhat hard to keep track of. Okay, Mindstone. Play a Witch of the Moors or an Endrixar, maybe. I mean, Endrixar just means we just speeds up the game a lot, so maybe we play that out. So Endrixar, we've got a Yara trigger, so game 1, drain 1. Back to us. No other triggers available, so I think we're going to leave that there for our turn. Obviously not playing a Gravecrawler this turn, but that is fine, I think. If we need to take 1 hit, that's okay. Let's add a counter here just to... Okay, so we've added the counter onto the Vengeful Dead, but this is a -1/-1 counter, not +1/+1. So it'll be their turn. Oh, finally, you're seeing a little bit more movement here. Zombie and Walking Corpse. See the attacks. So this is now a 2/1, which means I actually could have blocked and killed it last turn thinking about it. Ah well. But now we will block it. We'll block the Vengeful Dead with the Yawgmoth, 2/4, which will kill it, and the one of the zombies with 2/3 a Yara, which will also kill it. So it will both be destroyed, or lose 1 life for both of those due to the Vengeful Dead, because it will see each other die. But I'll also gain 1 life for each one dying, so it will be neutral. They lose 2 life from it. We can destroy that and not worry about the life gain. And then I will lose 4 to the unblocked. And they also lose 2 life. In the end step, again, not sacrificing anything. We like all our creatures, so let us go to our turn. Desert Glorified, not ideal. This card can probably come out of my deck, to be honest. It's no longer incredibly relevant to the rest of the deck. Okay. Maybe we just loop the Gravecrawler a bit now. Gain a bunch of life. The only thing I'm tempted by is like God Eternal Bond to and sacrificing a bunch of the thralls that are created. Or even Witch of the Moors, but I'd speed things up because I can then get Zulaport cut through. Yeah, okay, let's play that. We play with Zulaport, Witch of the Moors. When I cast it, this triggers Endrixar, so I create X 1/1 black thrall creature tokens, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. And then if I control 7 or more thralls, I have to sacrifice it. We can get around that with Yawgmoth. There we go. 5 of those there. And that does indeed trigger Yara 6 times, 1 for the Witch of the Moors and 5 for the Thralls. So we can flip back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Switch back to us. I don't think we're swinging in it again. I'd like to leave that as is. I'm going to leave the Thralls to sacrifice to Yawgmoth next turn, A, so that we can kill any big threats that come down, and B, so that if we draw over the 7 cards in hand, we don't have to discard until the end of my next turn. So we go to end step. We've gained life this turn, so each opponent sacrifices a creature. I will just sacrifice the Walking Corpse because that is slightly more beneficial, being in the graveyard. And we will return Azula Porker for a turn. And then we're back over to the zombies' turn. There we go. Finally, they're getting some big hitters. So we've got 3 zombies and the Grave Titan. When the Grave Titan enters, they create 2 more zombies. So now we're getting to quite a lot of zombies there. I don't really want it to attack, and I think Zulashor has outlived its usefulness. So let's flip back here before they go to combat. I'm going to sacrifice my 5 thralls and Zulashor Lichlord to Yawgmoth. This is going to give the Grave Titan -6/-6 and kill it. We will have 7 Blood Artist triggers because of my 6 creatures and the Grave Titan dying. And I will be drawing 6 cards, which is quite a lot. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Trolls are all dead. And then we'll flip back to the zombies. Their Grave Titan is dead. We gain 6 life. And they lose 6 life. Let me just sort out my hand here before we flip back and you see what an absolute mess it is at the moment. I mean, I think we're in a fairly safe bet now. Even if there's a board wipe, we have ways of recovering from that. So we should be fine. But they will go to attacks. They've got 6, 2 1s. We can block 3 of them. With a Yara, the 2/3, Witch of the Moors 4/4, and Yawgmoth 2/4. So that will destroy 3 of them. And I will take 6. And then 3 zombies dying will trigger Blood Artist thrice. So gain 3, and they will lose 3 life. Again, not doing anything in the end step, so we can pass back to ourselves. Play this one for turn. Useful to draw as well, actually. Play this one for turn. Let's play the Zulaport. Cut through, which gains 2 thralls, triggering a Yara 3 times. I don't think we need Midnight Reaper. We could just bury it alive, I guess. Search for some things in the graveyard. Oops, my phone died again. Yes. The problem with the app that I'm using in that it overheats and then turns off, which is a bit concerning. Let's see. Bear with me just a moment. Okay, bear with me just a moment. Apologies for this. Okay, it's not ideal. Significantly lower quality, I do apologize. Let's bring this down. Darken it up a little bit. I'd quite like to just finish the stream up, to be honest. I will have to figure out what's going on with the phone and see if there's any ways around that, unfortunately. Okay. Back up and running here. Yes. Okay, cool. So, switch back to here. We're searching for three creature cards and putting them into the graveyard. So I think I like Gary. That's a lot of damage. Grave Titan. That's pretty good. I don't think we need any more support pieces. Yeah, okay, so we'll put Gary, Grave Titan, and Drivnodge Carnage Dominus into the graveyard there. And then we can play Gravecrawler from the graveyard, which will trigger a Yara here. Game 1, drain 1. And create another Thrall, so it will also be game 1, drain 1 again. We'll sacrifice it to Yawgmoth, drawing a card, putting a -1/-1 counter on one of these creatures. And also triggering Blood Artist. Oh, and Zulaport Cutthroat now, actually, so that's another one. So many triggers in this deck. And then we'll replay Gravecrawler, creating another roll. 2 more Yara triggers. And I think that's going to be everything for my turn. We could swing in, but I don't think we need to. We're just chunking down the deck, so and we've got blocks for days. So I think we just send it back to them. Nested Ghoul, whenever a source deals damage to Nested Ghoul, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token on the battlefield. That's fine, because we have Yawgmoth to deal with that. We do have 4 zombie tokens, which is quite a lot, but that should be fine. So I think before we go to combat, we are going to sacrifice Thrall and Gravecrawler, paying 2 life, drawing 2 cards. As an Altar of Dementia and a Silent Blood. Also triggering Zulaport and Blood Artist twice each, so that's 4 life gain, 4 life drain. And we will kill this. And then let's let them go to combat. We can block 3 of them again. I don't think we worry about taking the damage. So we can sacrifice one of our Thralls, paying 1 life, drawing a card, to do the second -1/-1 counter on this zombie, which will kill that. I will gain 2, they will lose 2, which I will do afterwards. And then we block 3 of these. I will gain 3 because Zulaport only triggers on creatures I control, whereas Blood Artist is anyone's, and then we will take 6. And they will lose, how much did I say? 4, 7. Don't need to draw any cards, so I think we just pass them to ourselves. I think the only thing we could do now is some decent recursion. And we can play another swamp. I mean, Altar of Dementia is just damage against this deck, thinking about it. Can draw us any cards, so we don't like him. I think I will do the God Eternal Bontu move this turn, because I'd like to find some more things. So, sacrifice 2 Thralls to Yawgmoth, paying 2 life, drawing 2 cards. Oh, Phyrexian Delver, that'll do. Let's switch back here. We lost a life, and then we lost 2 life, and then we gained 4. They lost 4. And we will kill one of these. And then let's come back here. 5. Let's bring out Phyrexian Delver, which will create 5 Thralls, which will trigger a Yara 6 times. And then when it comes into play, we bring a creature back from the graveyard to the battlefield, which I don't think it's objectively correct, but Gary's funny, so we're going to get Gary back. So we lose life equal to the card's convert mana cost, which is 5. And then we Gary triggers, so when it enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life, where X is my devotion to black. I gain life equal to life loss this way. That's going to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14. So they will lose 14 life, gain 14. And then it's also an Ayara trigger, so 1 and 1. And then we can sacrifice 5 Thralls. We don't even need 5 of them. That will trigger my... let's switch back to this first. We had 5 Thralls. We can sacrifice all of those to Yawgmoth. So we pay 5 life, which puts us to 64. We don't even need targets. I'm not up to 1 target creature. Yep. And that will trigger both Support and Blood Artist 5 times, which is 10 damage. So we flip back here. Gain the 10 life, deal the 10 damage. And that's game over. We win. Right, I was planning on potentially doing another run after that, but because my phone died, I'm not a fan of the way this webcam looks. I'm going to need to figure out a way to fix that, or an alternative or something like that. So I think I'm going to end the stream here. Obviously, it'll be available on the YouTube channel afterwards if you'd like to watch. Thank you for checking it out, checking out this little experiment, and we shall catch you later. Bye.